Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio, and with me today are two ladies from Samuel's Public Library. And I'm Erin Rooney. Rooney, is that right? Erin Rooney. She's the adult supervisor or program supervisor. Is that right? And Michelle Ross. She's the. Are you the executive director or the head librarian? Is there such a thing over there now?
It's executive director, but I am a professional librarian, so you can call me head librarian if you want.
Yeah. Before we start, it's really funny, but, you think about a librarian just kind of like, it's a job that they got someone to take care of the books. You have to have like a master's degree even to get a job at an elementary school to be a librarian. I mean, it's a serious...
it is a serious course
profession.
Of study.
It is. I didn't realize. I just thought, well, you're just doing, if you knew the Dewey Decimal System, you could become a librarian, but... It's a lot more complicated. My daughter-in-law is a librarian, and I didn't realize how much work they have to go through to be a librarian. So hats off the librarian. So we did that to get started. But what we're talking about today is all the great stuff that goes on at the library. I just can't get over it. So where are we going to start? What's the next thing coming up?
So the next big thing coming up is Summer Reading Club. And we have something for all ages. You read books, you win prizes. Erin can tell you about the adult prizes. I know for children's, they get different prizes each week. And this year, Lido's has donated gift certificates to us. So they do get gift certificates to Lido's for the children's program, too.
Well, I read something like last year, these young kids reading 100 books or something.
Oh, yeah. And we also have 1,000 books before kindergarten, which is something to encourage parents to get their kids literate before kindergarten so that they get a good start. And the goal is to read 1,000 books before kindergarten, obviously.
And, it just brings to mind that Dolly Parton program that she has. Isn't that a great program?
It is great. And you know that they are doing that here in Warren County through the Warren Coalition, the Halo Reads Project.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And you can get applications for that at the library.
Okay, well, there you can see there's just so much good stuff. So we're going to have this summer reading program. So is there one for adults, too?
Yep, it's not just for kids. Adults get to have fun as well. So what happens is you can register online or at the reference desk. And every time you log a book, every book you read goes towards a prize drawing. And we have two different drawings. There's one that's a weekly drawing. You'll get it's one free dozen donuts from Apple House. And then...
that's worth reading a book for, right?
Yeah. Those donuts are amazing. And then we also are going to do a bi-weekly drawing for different prize baskets. And this year's theme is Oceans of Possibility. So each basket has a different take on doing some sort of fun activity out on the water, whether it's... we have a beach theme one, we have... and then some you can actually just, going out on the river. So, because we have the Shenandoah River around here.
I just, like I said, it's just, we're not your daddy's or your mama's library anymore. What you used to say, something like that, But, so we got to read all these books. Reading is really something that my kids were readers. They learned to read in, fourth kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, that kind of thing. And I can remember, getting my kids to go to bed, or they're in bed, but they got the lights on under the covers reading a book. I mean, you see those things in the movies, but it does happen. And that's one thing that they've kept going. They've read. And they do a lot of reading. It's just amazing. He always liked those make your own adventure books.
Yes, those are so much fun. Choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure. Flip it upside down. Read I don't know. It's just crazy stuff. So what else is going? We got this reading club. That's pretty cool. That goes it's a year-long program, isn't it? I mean,
we encourage people to read year-long. We have winter reading in the winter, and we have summer reading. And so the prizes are kind of an incentive to get people to come through the door and pick up books. Yeah. And summer reading kicks off on June 6th. Okay. We're going to have a big magic show with the magician Peter Wood.
Right.
He has worked with Penn and Teller. He's been on national TV. So it's something that's literally for all ages. The whole family can come out and enjoy it.
And when is that? June 6th?
June 6th at 6 p.m. So after work, so people can make it there.
Okay, that'll be good. Yeah. June 6th at 6 p.m. Magic at the library. Okay. Yeah. That's the first thing. What's the second thing?
Well, we've got also a petting zoo that's coming. We have, a puppet show that's coming. We're really I'm most excited about the petting zoo, to be honest. We also have another story walk event coming up. We've been partnering with Warren County Parks and Rec on a lot of things.
Right.
But for this special story walk, the author is actually going to be there, and that's going to be June 11th out at Easton Park.
Right.
Ben Hapke. The book that is going to go up is Nobody Likes a Goblin.
Right.
And the artwork in that book was actually inspired by some of the geology around the park. So we're really excited to have him come out.
Right. That's been a successful project, hasn't it?
It has. It's
I
been
thought,
very
well, that's kind
successful.
of something, but people really got into
Yeah.
that park thing, that walking book or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
there. But
story
that's-
walk.
Story walk, yeah. And that's, people like that.
And we're working with them on a program called Warren Reads as well. So we will be having special storytime guests throughout the summer from the Sheriff's Department, the Front Royal Police Department, and Warren County Fire and Rescue. And then they're doing a really cool thing called Toddler Trails. So they're going out to the different parks each summer, once a month, and teaching kids all about the kind of animals and critters and trees and bugs that are out there, and taking them on a walk and doing a story time and a craft. So we're really excited about that too, because not everyone gets out to all of the parks that we
Right,
have, and we
right.
have a lot of really gorgeous parks.
We really do.
And that's been just like a wonderful collaboration. We love the Parks and Rec department.
And kids
they're
like
awesome.
bugs. I don't know
Yeah,
why,
kids
but
love
they do.
bugs.
They like dirt and bugs. But that's kind of an educational thing too, to learn to identify
Right.
things. This is a good bug. This is a not so
Yeah.
good bug.
Exactly. Don't eat this bug.
I tell you, just reminded me, you said when you're outdoors, you just finished a couple projects too. We'll talk about the Samicon. That was great, right?
That was wonderful. I loved the arcade that was there. That was so cool.
And another thing just happened, which is like you wouldn't think the library would do it, is you taught people how to prune their
Yes.
pruning thing.
Yeah. The tree stewards have been doing a lot for us.
Yeah. So there's the tree stewards. They were in here last week and talked about the pruning. They had going to show you how to prune your book at the library. I mean, so they're just so much. And look at all the brochures you got here. And I'm looking at one here for June 6th through August the 13th, and then another one for. Just goes on and on. Yeah. So let's talk about a couple of those things real quick. You talked about Toddler Trails.
Talked about Toddler Trails. We talked about Warren Reads. Dancing by His Grace is going to do a few
Right.
different dance programs for us throughout the summer. I think they're doing one each month this summer, and those have been very popular as well. We've been doing a special needs story time, and that's really open to anyone, but it's tailored towards those with special needs, and that has been really great. We've been working with the Warren County ARC on that. Like I said, we got the petting zoo. We also have a drumming circle coming up, which is, it's
Who
only a
thinks of
small
all
group.
this stuff? I mean,
Well, it's the library staff, and then also the Friends of Samuel Library
Right.
does a lot as well. That's how we get the tree stewards in and
well,
some
there's
of our
also
collaborations.
community involvement.
There is.
Melanie Hotek was in, obviously with the tree stewards, and she's one of your volunteers and a friend. And we talked about the amphitheater, and
Yes.
and I think when that gets all completed and finished, you're going to be able to have so many of these outdoor programs and bring the community. It's kind of like the central place where our community comes together. It's a great. It's one of those hidden gems that we have in our town that I think is underutilized. Even as busy as you are, you could do so much more.
Yes, and that's part of the reason why we come out and talk to you, to try to spread the word, because not everyone knows. They have this preconceived notion of what the library
Right.
is.
It's a place with a bunch of old moldy books.
And we have brand new books.
Well, and they recycle. I use the word recycle. These things are It's a revolving library. I mean, things come and go, and books come and go, and you sell off a lot of books. You buy a lot of books. You get books donated to you. Books aren't going to go away. You got electronic books.
Yeah.
Electronic media,
E-books.
movies. You got games. But we're going to talk about games too.
Mm-hmm.
She brought this show and tell, and I'm going to show you one here. Oh, look at this thing here. This one here is titled. Mark, I don't know if you can really swing in on it. This is Minecraft. Now, my grandson is into this Minecraft. So I don't know anything about it other than that's all he does. So there's these games. Are these like board games? Is that what this is?
This is our new board game collection.
So this got all sorts of pieces and these things are not cheap to buy. So you can go and you check these out.
Yep, you can check them out for 2 weeks.
Wow, there you go. So to the mom and to the spending that $100 on a board game, you can check this out with your library card, right?
That's correct.
There you go.
And it's only adult cards because some of the games are not they're not child friendly, but they're a little more advanced than what children can do.
Yeah.
So
a lot of these games, they're difficult.
yes,
This one definitely. This is Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, well, yeah, but adults play these things. There's
Exactly.
all sorts of cool things they've got. They've got lots of games, and like you said, these board games are something. And I noticed they got a sticker on here that says "Play Favorites," and he's helped sponsor some of these games. He's got tons of these games down there, and we did a little talk with him, and it's amazing the kind of things that he has in his store. So I want to give him a plug because Michael's really stuck it out in the community, and he's done a lot for kids. He's got a little place to play games, and it's
and
really
he provided the arcade for SammyCon as
Yeah,
well. He's
that's
been
right.
a big
He's
help
been
with
amazing.
the library.
Yeah, so he's really into it, and I think it's a great another one of those assets in our community to have a place like that. And but we'll put that down here. But yeah, these games are so cool. Now you've got a lot more brochures than she has, so that's because she's an adult,
We have a bunch of adult programs going on as well.
right?
We actually will have the tree stewards back on June 11th. They're going to do a basic tree identification program. We've also got one, it's called adaptogenic herbs, which is different plants, mushrooms that are supposedly pretty good for your health, so relieving stress, that type of thing.
And that's a virtual one, right?
Yes, that will be virtual. We do, sometimes with their virtual programs, we do record them, so if people can't make it, they can also watch it
Sure.
on our YouTube and Facebook
Sure,
channel as
sure.
well. And then we're also going to have fishing on the Shenandoah. That's going to be Saturday, June 25th, and that'll go over the different fishing spots in the area, how the different basics, equipment, things like that.
Sometimes there's just a few people involved. Sometimes there's lots of people involved. But like you say, there's something at the library for all ages.
Yes,
It's just
absolutely.
I just can't get over it. I mean, I don't really take that advantage of all the things. I mean, I want to say my kids did when they were younger. So the library's been around a long time, and again, that's it's kind of a different type of a library than what most communities have. I think the way it was made or funded and started and keeps going, and you got friends, you got all sorts of. And you can volunteer there. You got room for
Absolutely.
volunteers.
We do have room for volunteers. We take adult volunteers and teen volunteers, and our teen volunteer program has been very successful. They treat it like a job, and
Right.
they take it very seriously. And the teens just love it. We've seen like a 50% increase in volunteerism at the library over the past year, which has been great. So we're getting back some of the people that we, lost during COVID.
COVID kind of put a damper on everything in the world.
Yes.
But we're going to fight forward and move on, and I think people are ready to do that, and they're coming out and this community volunteers is a lot of volunteers in our community. They want to try to make it a great place. It's I keep telling people I stole the phrase "small town, big possibilities," but it's true. We have that a small town where you can get around pretty easily across town in a minute or two. Yet we have all these great things, the library, and this is something new too.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to talk about that?
I want to talk about that because for years and even now we still do that. We're going to talk about the memory lab. And I now when people come in and said, "Can you transfer my?" I said, "Why don't you go to the library? You could do it yourself, and you'll save money." So you ran me out of business.
No.
Thanks a lot. Competing with the private businesses, but that's okay. This is good. Talks about that. Tell about Memory Lab.
So the Memory Lab, it allows people to use our equipment to digitize like home videos, personal documents, photographs, and slides, because a lot of times these things, either the equipment is outdated or they have a hard time finding it, or they're just deteriorating and
Sure.
they're going to lose it. So we have different formats you can digitize. There's VHS. Most people don't realize VHS really only has a shelf life maybe 30 to 50 years.
Right,
and
right.
it's a lot of people had home videos they did back in the 80s and the 90s, and it's going to
time.
start.
Now is the time. If you've got
Now's
a
the
memory,
time.
you need to change the technology, right?
Exactly. So we do have a VHS to digital converter. We also have a negative film scanner. So, you go through your boxes and you find, that just stray string of negative film that's
Right,
well,
right.
I don't know what to do with that. You can bring it into the library and we can transfer them over to digital photos.
Yeah, so it's all sorts of cool things. Do you have a Betamax machine?
Unfortunately, no.
I get that call all the time. That was a technology that only lived a few years. And I
Yes.
said, I said, it died. I said, so, no, I don't have one.
We don't have 8mm yet either. So we're hoping to do some more grants and fundraising over the year to add to the memory lab as well to get more technologies.
Right. So I can donate my 8mm transfer machine and give that to you, right?
We will take it. Absolutely.
There's just so much stuff, like, say, the technology changes all the time. I said, we've been doing this for over 40 years, and we started off with 4 tracks, 8 tracks.
Yeah.
I even have wire recorders, when they were just recorded on a piece of wire. People don't realize all the technology that's changed in the last since we started recording things. Hello, Watson, come in here, from the telephone on up. So, but yeah, it's there's just so much stuff. I'm just going to glance through some of her brochures here, see if I recognize anything that I think is really cool. Oh, you already talked about tree identification. You talked about herbs. You talked about fishing.
We've got all the events on our calendar here too. So this is everything that's coming up in June. As you can see, it's a pretty full calendar.
And that's something too. We post these calendars on the Royal Examiner, and there's one for children, and then there's ones for adults, and it's just tons of stuff, and they change every week. I mean, we update these things. I get the emails all the time from Erin, and she says, "Here's the latest one. Oh, this has been canceled. Oh, we've added this one." So there's just so much going on, and it gets a lot of views on these calendars, and people do watch it and read it.
People watch it, and they come in, and something cool that Erin's going to be doing over the summer too is we're going to be showing interactive movies. So you watch the movie. But while you're watching the movie, you're interacting with it you're doing bingo games, right?
Yeah, we've done bingo games before. We're looking into some other cool, fun, different games we can play. There's going to be another prize drawing that's specific for the movies. The first one coming up is The Princess Bride. So
that movie is old. I mean, hard to believe when that movie came out in the 90s, right? Right, a classic, but
based on a book. Yep.
Yeah, based on a book, and yet people that's one of those movies of all ages that you can watch over and over. Some things you can do that with. One movies you watch at one time, that's enough. You never need to see it again. But that's one that people will watch over and over and over again.
It is.
And it's still cool. It's still funny.
Yeah.
And it's still got a message, and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that. And we talked a lot about technology. I just want to remind people that we do have laptops and Wi-Fi hotspots that you can check out at the library. The Wi-Fi connectivity doesn't reach everywhere, but it's pretty good throughout the county. Actually, last Saturday for the Wine and Craft Festival, they used one of our Wi-Fi hotspots to run the ticket sales. So,
hey, there you go.
It works downtown. We know that much.
Well, and like you say, the schools did that, and they come up with these hotspots, and used to be used to pull into your parking lot and connect to your Wi-Fi. And people did that.
They still do that. Yeah. They still do that, and sometimes we'll see people on the picnic table outside when we come in the morning using the Wi-Fi out there. And we love to be able to provide that service because we know it's just not available for everyone at home right now. So.
Well, the cool thing about the library is you can go there with your kids, and then after you've done the books, they can go right next door to the park and play on the ground and get them all wore out so they can go home and take a nap.
Exactly, yes.
Or go home and read.
Right,
there you go.
Read before their nap.
That's right, read before the nap. Anything else we want to touch base on? I think we've covered quite a bit.
We've covered a lot.
Oh, I do have one other thing. So for the month of June, starting with summer reading, we also have a cool tiny art program.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So people can come into the library. They can pick up a kit, which will give you a little 3x3 canvas piece with paints. So you can do it's based off of our theme, so Oceans of Possibility.
Right.
And if they bring it in, we'll be able to showcase it in the library, and we will vote on the best one at the end of the month.
You hang this picture in your tiny house. That's what you do. But there's a whole art about making these little tiny things and how intricate they are. It's almost like people used to go big, and then all of a sudden they went through that period where let's make it smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's like telephones, used to be little Nokios or whatever they were. Now you got a television you carry around in your pocket. Yeah, it's great. Well, the library does so many great things, and Erin, I really appreciate all the work you do there. I know it's a lot of work keep adults entertained,
Yes.
and to help them become lifelong learners. And you do that by reading, and that's the great thing of life. Oh, I read a little bit of useless information that we could not read unless that voice in our head talks to us. Did you ever hear that? Do you ever think about that? Ever try to read without your voice in your head? So when you have that voice in your head, it's a good thing, I guess. It allows you to
Not
read.
all the voices are bad.
Right.
Yeah,
not all
there
the
you go.
voices I said, yeah, that little voice you have in your head allows you to read to yourself, you know. When you think about it, now you think about that
Yes.
as you're reading, you're thinking, well, someone's talking to me here.
You always give us something to think about when we come here.
Exactly.
I am just full of useless information, so it's cool. Anyway, again, thanks Michelle and Erin for coming in, telling us, showing us the games and all the great things we do at the library. We want to encourage that, the people to participate. We'll put the link to the library, and you can check out all these calendars and stuff that's going on. Please visit. It's easy to get a library card, right?
It is easy to get a library card. You just need a form of identification with your current address.
Yeah. It's really...
Mike's going to come in September and get one for library card sign up month.
That's right.
Because we will have a special edition platinum card for our 70th anniversary.
Oh, right. Well, there
So-
you go. So I need to get one. I have the one in the past, but they expire, I think, and I don't know. My wife.
do expire.
Well, you know what it is my wife carries it with her, so I won't lose it. You know, so where's the passport? Where's my?
Well, we have an app, the Samuel's Library To Go app, and you can get a digital library card, and it has the barcode right there. It works on our self-checkout. It works on our scanners at the desk.
Always something.
So if you lose your library card, you always have it on you.
What more can you ask for? You guys are in the 21st century.
We are.
It's great. See all the great things at the library. Again, thanks so much for coming in. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next month. And you can
See you
tell us
next month.
how things are going. Okay.
Yes. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thanks much.